Hello, today I'm going to talk about Jaws, 1975. This was my latest classic film. Try and watch films from the 20th century, one every week if possible. I've never seen Jaws, of course. I'm familiar with the concept that it's about a shark. One thing that prompted me is all the publicity for the forthcoming Jason Statham film, Meg 2. Hits a shark probably and knocks him out in one blow. I don't know. I might actually watch that when it comes round to it, but I was very keen to see what Steven Spielberg's one of his first films as director, so this looked right up my street. It's written by Peter Benchley, Carl Gottlieb. The main stars are Roy Scheider as Brody, Richard Dreyfuss as Hooper, Robert Shaw as Quint, and Lorraine Gary as Alan Brody. Most of the men on the IMDb, at least, are referred to by their surnames, not their first names. I think sometimes that can be confusing. Referring to people by their surnames has a feeling of austerity. Schools in the 70s and 80s, even some of my teachers, referred to all the pupils, boys and girls, anyone, by their surname. It felt stern compared to calling people by their first name. In the workplace in the 90s, everyone had a title, Mr., Mrs., Ms. Now people are more likely to be referred by their first name and last name. Kelly time cut, straightforward. I'll come to the character Quint later. But firstly, the beach scenes. They were similar to what I was expecting. The conflict of interest between public safety and the drive to keep the tourist industry open. It's set in New England, in the town of Amity, and that's set on an island, local paradise. Tourists swarm, sit on the beach, enjoying the sunshine around the 4th of July. And just the week before, this opening scene is when there's a playful chase between a couple who look like they want to have some nookie. And when the woman dives into the water, she hopes that the young man will follow. And unfortunately, he's a tad too drunk. This actually saves him because he passes out inebriated on the beach. The shark is on the prowl and the woman succumbs. Of course, the local mayor is very keen to keep the tourist industry thriving. The biggest day of the year, perhaps Independence Day, everyone's going to be on the beach. He wants to play down the threat of a shark. Sharks, no, it's safe to get in the water. I don't actually remember that line appearing in the film, but it's often used when referring to Jaws. There's the police chief, and his job is public safety. He's there on the beach, listening, attuned to every scream, and unfortunately, there's some other events that are distracting. There's a prank, and he's got his work cut out. I actually felt a lot of sympathy for Roy Scheider's character when someone else gets they talk about this pond. I was curious by that because it didn't look like a pond. A pond I think of as a very small area of water, a tiny lake. But this looked like the opening. I think it's also referred to as an estuary. And in this estuary, there's more awful events. There's awful events on the beach. And of course, then the town does take it seriously. They employ Quint, Mr. Quint, Robert Shaw. And he's a real macho guy. He's got the attitude. He doesn't suffer fools gladly, but he also really ups the ante when it comes to machismo. He actually scares Ellen Brody. I'm not surprised. He's just got this repartee. It's humorous. I looked up Robert Shaw afterwards. I really liked his acting. Wow, he's really done a great job. And Jaws were where he got his main fame. He'd been in quite a lot of other films. He's born in Lancashire. He's got this one-up personship with a shark expert. He doesn't seem to like, Quint doesn't like this younger man. He's perhaps 20 years older. Like many older people, look down on younger people. It was just the same decades ago, using pejorative language about them. The police chief, the shark expert, and the master mariner, veteran from the war era, they all set sail right out into the open sea in search of the shark. And this is where the second half of the film, a totally different adventure from the first half of the film. I loved it. I'd not like to have been on that boat. Could have been set in the 19th century century. Quint's attitude, he was a self-destructive maniac, smashes up the radio equipment. What's up with him? They get on at times. They sing sea shanties. There's the mariner's tale, the glint in the eye. I could see some vulnerability in this eye, and I liked that aspect, the nuance of the film in that element. Someone can be really hard on the surface, and yet you can see a bit of the fear and the vulnerability within them. And I saw that with him. You know, there were other aspects to his personality, and he does get on with the two younger men. Well, I won't go into what exactly happens, but they've got equipment that Quint looks down on, you know, a shark cage and all this electronic equipment and poison, strychnine. He doesn't believe in that for dealing with a shark. No, you use barrels and you just hunt him down with guns. And that's where this "we're going to need a bigger boat" comes in as well. I love it when I get to see a scene in a film that's part of cultural mythology nowadays, when they're trying to bait the shark. Wow, he looks so massive, this shark. So overall, I thought brilliant acting, really well crafted. Loved all the main characters, the conflicts, the whole narrative really gelled. A friend told me that when she went to Los Angeles, Universal Studios in the late 70s, and got to see the shark used, she wasn't impressed. And yet, in the 70s, we didn't have the special effects of today. It felt realistic enough. Even I watched it on the small screen streaming service, and it gripped me, the whole film. I'm going to give it 9 out of 10. Love to know what you think about this film. If you've never seen it, I think it's worth watching. I'd watch it ahead of Meg 2, and then perhaps compare the films. Maybe that's what I'll do. Thanks for any likes and any subscriptions. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye for now.